Hello, and welcome to Eastchester Eagles Productions. I'm Ron Hatter, Director of Curriculum and Instruction for the Eastchester School District. And today, I'm joined by Mr. Scott Wynn, Principal of Eastchester Middle School. Welcome, Mr. Wynn.
Thank you, Dr. Hatter.
Today's program will focus on the Common Core learning standards, a topic that has been in the news media in recent weeks and months. However, it's not a topic that's new to those in education and to school districts. The Common Core learning standards were developed in 2009 by the National Governors Association and the Council of Chief State School Officers. They were finalized in June of 2010 and were really implemented in earnest in school districts in the 2012-13 school year. The Common Core standards have been adopted by 45 states in the U.S., and they are a set of standards that are far more rigorous than the previous set of standards, and they span from grades kindergarten through 12th grade, and in New York State, from pre-kindergarten to 12th grade. Now, for the purpose of today's program, we're going to be discussing the Common Core learning standards at the middle school level. Now, Mr. Wynn, can you offer our audience some insight as to how the Common Core learning standards have affected instruction at the middle school?
I'd be happy to. Really today I'd like to talk about four major areas in which the Common Core has affected instruction at the middle school. The first is really an increase on the focus on literacy and vocabulary. And with the Common Core state standards, what we're looking at is really a change across all of the different subject areas. So much more of an interdisciplinary application as opposed to one area or another. And when we look at this, we're really talking about two major kind of focuses. The first being a specific increase in the application of informational text. And when I talk about informational text, what I'm talking about is the use of things like primary source documents, nonfiction text, and we can talk about things like newspapers, articles, journal articles, authentic research, charts, maps, diagrams. So we see much more application of these type of literacy within our different subject areas. The second piece is a focus on close reading. And close reading is really looking at shorter reading passages, but at a much deeper level. We see different examples of that. So in sixth grade, we're really focusing on reading strategies with our students. Pre-reading strategies, during reading strategies, and post-reading strategies to get them really thinking about the text that they're reading. In seventh grade, we have a focus on looking at common vocabulary across the disciplines, looking at how different words apply themselves across each of the different subject areas. In the eighth grade, we're really looking at an application of current events in different subject areas. So our teachers are doing interdisciplinary projects looking at current events in science, social studies, ELA, and math. The second major focus that we see in the middle school is an increased use of text-based evidence. So we're looking for our students to support their ideas, their different arguments, their writing from evidence that they collect from the text that they're reading. Rather than coming up just with their own opinion, being able to take that opinion and then support it based upon the text that they're using to do their research. In social studies, we see applications of that by using document-based questions. In science, it's through our lab reports. And in ELA, we're taking information that we're gathering from novels and from informational text and applying it to the writing that they're doing. The third focus that we have is really focusing on developing a deeper level of understanding. And you talked about that in your introduction by saying that we're looking for students to cover a smaller amount of material, but a much more in-depth level. And being able to take that information and apply it to solving problems, which takes us into our fourth focus, which is the application in the real world. Being able to take the information, all the reading, the writing, and use it to apply in an application way to solve real-world applications.
What a great overview of the impact on our instruction, and I would completely echo those sentiments in grades kindergarten through 12th grade. This is a increased awareness of literacy in our curriculum across all content areas. higher order thinking skills and taking those concepts and applying them to real world settings. And that is something that our children have certainly embraced, and I think that with additional practice and with additional rigor in the Common Core, our children will be prepared for college and career. So now, Mr. Wynn, let's take our audience into some middle school classrooms. Perhaps you can provide us with some background on each of the classrooms we're going to visit.
I'd be happy to. So the first class we're going to visit is the class of Tom Boiseno. Tom teaches global technology in the middle school, and the focus of his class is really developing those real-world applications to look at issues of today and how we can use technology in order to create solutions based on the issue at hand.
The best part about teaching the new global technology curriculum is that it's designed to bring real-world experiences into the classroom. So the kids might come in one day and they might have a challenge sheet, and they read the sheet, they collect all their supplies, and they have to build something to respond to that challenge. And they have to work together, and it's designed to really make the kids experience what it might be like to have a job where you go out and you have to solve a problem every day and you have to work with other people every day, and it creates a very nice work experience in the classroom, and I find that a lot of learning goes on within the challenges.
What wonderful activities.
Thank you very much. And now we're going to be moving on to one of our 6th grade ELA classes run by Deborah Barrett, where we're going to be seeing the implementation of the Common Core learning standards as it applies to the different literacy and reading strategies that we discussed before.
Hi, I'm Deborah Barrett, 6th grade ELA teacher here at Eastchester Middle School, and we are doing an Egyptomania project, a live museum project with our periods 2-3 and Miss Franz.
Hi. So the idea for the museum came from an article that we had read a couple of years ago from a NICET magazine, and it was titled "That Literacy Lives at the Classroom Museum." So the basis of this project is that students are assigned particular topics pertaining to ancient Egyptian culture, and some of those topics include the animals that were present and considered sacred in ancient Egyptian daily life, the foods that were eaten by the ancient Egyptians, the gods and goddesses worshipped. We had sports and games, we had information on language, all different components of ancient Egyptian life. And students are grouped in centers and then provided some direction towards research materials, and then they produce a project, very crafty kind of a project, as an exhibit. And they present all of their findings and information, and they're able to tie arts and crafts into the piece, and then they present as a museum in our classroom.
And what's really nice about doing the museum is that it's an interdisciplinary unit with social studies. So there are pre-reading strategies, there are during reading strategies, post-reading strategies, all in social studies. They bring it here now to the live museum, and they're intertwine all of that learning into their creativity. And you know, with the Common Core, it just proves, it shows you can be creative and still align your curriculum with the Common Core.
The final course that we're going to be looking at is John Blazer's course. It's an independent inquiry course, which is one of our new courses here at the middle school. This is a student-driven, research-based course. Students select their own topics that they wish to research, really based on their interests. Through flipped instruction, where Mr. Blazer is preparing the instruction ahead of time, students are viewing that instruction through our Moodle-based computer system, and then coming into class and applying their information. The students are able to complete their research on their own and at their own pace.
This class really has a strong focus on the Common Core standards. Part of that is that students are doing a research project that involves using nonfiction sources of information, and they have to find resources in our library databases on the internet. They learn how to do citations, take notes, and then they present their information in various ways as part of the project. So that really focuses on a number of the Common Core standards. It also helps them to be prepared when they're given a research project in another class, such as a science or social studies topic that they need to research. They now know how to find information easily, and they know how to cite it and then extract information from their sources. The other thing that this does is really prepare them for doing research and handling different types of information later on in their school and work careers. Especially high school, they're going to be given many more research topics than they get in middle school. And they'll need to use what they've learned in this class in order to do the research projects in high school and then in college as well. So all these skills, this is the foundation for the skills, and then they'll apply them not only in middle school but in high school and college and beyond.
It is absolutely wonderful to see our children so engaged in the classroom activities.
Thank you.
So now, Mr. Wynn, what advice would you offer to parents at home watching this program who are interested in supporting their children to meet the rigor of the Common Core standards?
That's such a great question, Dr. Hatter, because really we need to be partners in helping to allow our students the opportunity to meet the rigorous standards that are placed on us by the Common Core. So first, I would say most important would be to read with your children. Whether it's fiction, nonfiction, the newspaper, magazine articles, any kind of reading that you can do with your children will be helpful. Second, they need to be able to be challenged with higher level vocabulary. As you're doing your own reading, if you come across vocabulary words, share them with your child. Help them to understand the higher order vocabulary that's out there in the world today. Third, discuss real world issues and problems. As you're sitting at dinner, discuss what's going on in the world. Help them to develop an opinion on what's going on and have them support it with their own thoughts and ideas, or maybe some things that they've read or things that they've seen on their own. Fourth, practice, practice, practice. Whether it's math skills, writing skills, vocabulary, verbal expression, children need to practice as much as possible in order to become proficient in these skills. We need to not let children settle for mediocre work. We need to push them. We need to have them check their work. We need to have them try to do their absolute best as often as they possibly can. Being satisfactory just isn't enough anymore. We want to push them to really do the best that they can. And finally, remain involved. Ask questions. Ask your child what they're doing in school. Have them tell you what's going on in their class. If you have questions, contact your child's teacher. Let them know what you feel are your child's strengths and weaknesses so that together we can really support children in the best way possible.
Thank you, Mr. Wynn, for those excellent tips. If you would like to access Mr. Wynn's tips or to access several other supporting documents, please go to the district's webpage and click on the Office of Curriculum and Instruction link. We thank you for watching today's program, and we hope that you continue to watch Eastchester Eagles Productions programming as we cover many other interesting topics throughout the course of the school year. Thank you, and have a good day.